Val Kilmer. Beginning with Top Secret all the way back in 1984, and then Real Genius, he was becoming known for comedy. Then moving on to more serious roles like Top Gun, Willow, and The Doors, he was recognized as one of the most talented and versatile actors of all time. Over the course of 40 years, he's amassed over 100 credits in a wide variety of genres. Tombstone, True Romance, Batman Forever, Heat, and others. He was one of the biggest stars in Hollywood. With his untimely passing last week, I wanted to look at some of his other films that I feel are absolutely worth watching. Here's 5 Val Kilmer films you may have overlooked. Thunderheart. Thunderheart's a dramatic action film from director Michael Apted. It's about a murder on a Native American reservation. 2 federal agents are sent in to investigate. One of them has some Sioux heritage, which factors into the investigation. The movie was apparently inspired by some actual events that took place in the 1970s. Val Kilmer plays the FBI agent who is of mixed heritage. His partner's played by Sam Shepard. Kilmer's terrific in the role of the young Fed, who, because of his heritage, is caught between 2 worlds. The movie was shot mostly in South Dakota on the Pine Ridge Reservation. The movie had many real Native American actors, including Graham Greene, who played the sarcastic Native American cop. Thunderheart was released on April 3, 1992, and despite mostly positive reviews, the film still only opened in 5th place. It pulled in about $22.6 million, which wasn't too bad considering it cost only $15 million to make. So it most likely recouped its budget through rentals and cable. Thunderheart's a solid mystery with an engrossing story that'll keep you guessing. The visuals are well done, and the whole thing looks far more expensive than it ended up being. Thunderheart is not available for streaming. The movie did get a DVD release, and last year it was restored to Blu-ray. The Saint. The Saint's a 1997 action film from director Philip Noyce. Originally, there was a book series by Leslie Charteris. This series was about the character of Simon Templar, a super-intelligent Robin Hood-like figure. The first novel was Meet the Tiger in 1928. The series ran until 1983, although in the 1960s, other authors took over the books, using Charteris' name as a pseudonym. The Saint's been adapted to numerous things over the years, including a comic strip, a film series, a radio drama, and 2 different TV shows, one of which famously starred Roger Moore before he went off to play James Bond. This version of The Saint was a big action blockbuster attempt to restart interest in the long-running franchise, although the movie takes a few liberties with the source material. Val Kilmer played Simon Templar. He's a professional thief known as the Saint, due to him using Catholic saints as his aliases. He's hired by a Russian oil company billionaire to steal the formula for cold fusion from a brilliant electrochemist working at Oxford. The evil Russian guy wants this so he can prevent the release of cold fusion, which would ruin his business. He also wants to murder Simon and frame him for the theft as revenge for him stealing a microchip from him in the past. The Saint, master of disguise, is obviously 15 steps ahead of everyone and manages to outsmart the bad guys and win the girl. The big budget update of The Saint had been in the works for quite some time. At one point in the 80s, there was a version with Pierce Brosnan attached, but that never happened for various reasons. I think the reason why this finally got the green light was due to Mission Impossible getting adapted by Brian De Palma in 1996. As you know, Hollywood loves trends, so if you look at the similarities between the two, it's pretty easy to see. It's funny too, considering that both films came out of Paramount. Anyway, after passing through a variety of writers and directors, it finally came together with Philip Noyce directing and Val Kilmer in the lead. Kilmer took the part after turning down a chance to play Batman again in Batman and Robin, which in hindsight ended up being a wise decision. The movie also starred Elizabeth Shue, shortly after her award-winning role in 1995's Leaving Las Vegas. Although here she doesn't really sell the whole super genius who discovered cold fusion.
When positively charged deuterons are attracted to the palladium cathode, they cram together, and there are millions and millions of them inside the cathode, getting closer and closer, and then they fuse.
The film's a big, explosive action spy thriller. Kilmer's dashing as the new version of The Saint, which really is quite a lot different from the version in the books. It's kind of over the top and just slightly ridiculous. The movie didn't do as well as the studio hoped, pulling in only $169.4 million against a $90 million budget. The movie did so-so with critics, while audiences liked it way more than they did. In 2016, there were talks of a reboot that never happened. Then, more recently, in 2023, there were rumblings of a new reboot with Doug Liman directing, who, honestly, I think would be the right choice to do it. However, I haven't seen anything new since the announcement 2 years ago. The Saint was released on DVD. It did get a Blu-ray in 2021, but it's out of print. It's available for streaming on Fubo and also on video on demand. At First Sight. At First Sight's a 1999 romantic drama from director Irwin Winkler. It's based on an essay called To See and Not to See, from the book An Anthropologist on Mars by Oliver Sacks. It's about a blind man who's convinced by his girlfriend to get a new surgery that has the potential to restore his sight, which he lost at the age of 3. The procedure's a success, but Virgil's disoriented and can't seem to function now that he has his vision back. He has to relearn how to do everything, which puts a strain on his life and on his relationship. When the movie was announced, the title was changed slightly from the short story. They called it To See or Not to See. It went from studio to studio, and when Val Kilmer joined, it was changed to Sight Unseen and then At First Sight. I was confused because in 1996 there was a movie that I absolutely loved called At First Sight, which was an offbeat comedy about 2 friends from Long Island chasing women. The film had its name changed to Two Guys Talking About Girls, and I don't know if that was because of this movie or not. Anyway, back to At First Sight. The film also starred Mira Sorvino, who won Best Supporting Actress in 1995 for Mighty Aphrodite. The movie received poor reviews, and it opened in 5th place, making a little over $22 million against a $60 million budget. At First Sight is a well-done drama that shows Val Kilmer's range as an actor. It's a little sappy at times, but no more so than the laundry list of other feel-good, feel-bad romance films. The movie's available for streaming on Tubi and Pluto TV. It's also available on DVD and Blu-ray. Mindhunters. Mindhunters is a 2004 crime thriller from director Rennie Harlin. The movie's about a group of FBI agents who are doing a training exam where they have to find a serial killer in order to pass. Problem is, during the exam, they're picked off one by a real killer who they think might be someone on their own team. Val Kilmer is one of the team that consists of a variety of talent like Johnny Lee Miller, LL Cool J, and Christian Slater. The script for the movie was sold to 20th Century Fox under the original title of Unsub, which was short for Unknown Subject. The executives at Fox changed it to Mindhunters, which the author of the script didn't like because there already was a book from 1995 called Mindhunter, which was about the elite serial killer crime unit of the FBI, which would go on to be the basis for the 2017 series. The movie went through some rewrites, as well as numerous casting changes over its pre-production history. They finally started filming in 2002. The movie was shot with the intention of being released R, but the studio wanted to release it PG-13. The director re-edited the film, but thanks to a ratings board that was now being overly nitpicky due to recent events, the film was still saddled with an R. Rumor has it that Harlan just went and edited all the violence back in for the US release. The film premiered at the Brussels Fantastic International Film Fest in March of 2004. Due to some distribution deals, the film didn't get released in the US until May 13th, 2005. The movie opened in 9th place, pulling in a little over $21 million in its theatrical run. So it didn't make back its $27 million budget in theaters. Critics hated the film, of course. I personally enjoyed it. The film's an interesting, entertaining, surprisingly violent thriller that borders on horror at some points. If you're familiar with Rennie Harlin's work, you know that it's going to be a slick, fast-paced film. While I've been let down by some of his films, it's never due to the directing. It's an enjoyable mystery that you may figure out before the characters do, but that doesn't detract from the overall experience. The movie is on DVD, but not on Blu-ray. It's available for streaming on Hoopla, and it's on video on demand. Spartan. This is my favorite lesser-known Val Kilmer movie. Spartan's a 2004 action crime thriller written and directed by David Mamet. Val Kilmer plays Robert Scott, a former Marine who's now a badass specialist for a group called the Delta Force. He's brought in to do a mission to locate the president's daughter who's gone missing. What follows is Val Kilmer shooting and beating the crap out of bad guys on a beeline through some nasty places to rescue the president's daughter and uncover a grand conspiracy. The movie predates Taken by 4 years. Val Kilmer's part was inspired by real U.S. Special Operative Eric L. Haney, who was on the film as the technical advisor. Mamet used many of Haney's real experiences in the movie. It's also a spy thriller that doesn't go up its own ass with fake spy lingo. Everything's said as snappy as possible, and the script doesn't treat the audience like a bunch of half-wits who can't pay attention. What else would you expect from Mamet, who wrote the script for Glengarry Glen Ross? The guy knows how to write dialogue. In the movie, they explain why it's called Spartan.
One riot, one ranger. You ever heard that?
Leonidas, king of Sparta, when a neighboring state would plead for military aid, would send one man.
When Warner Brothers released the film, they wanted to call it Ranger, but then changed it back to Spartan after test audiences didn't understand the name. It was released on March 12, 2004. It opened in 9th place and only pulled in about $8.1 million against a $12 million budget. An absolute shame, but really not surprising. I don't remember seeing any ads for it at the time, and the studio only put it out in 832 theaters. Meanwhile, the other movie that opened that weekend, Secret Window, was released in 3,018 theaters. I genuinely enjoyed the movie because it showed the brutality of the character. Val Kilmer played a cold, calculating specialist. He was the best at what he did, and God help whoever stood in his way. This movie is one of the furthest away from the characters that Kilmer usually plays, and he delivers an outstanding performance. In one of those rare instances when I agree with Roger Ebert, he gave the film 4 stars and said it was Kilmer's best performance since Tombstone. The cast is terrific too, with Ed O'Neill, William H. Macy, and a pre-Veronica Mars Kristen Bell. This movie released just a few months before the series that helped push her into the mainstream. Spartan's available on DVD. It's also on Blu-ray, but as an import from Spain. It does at least seem to be region-free. The movie's available to stream on Hoopla. It's also on video on demand. So there's 5 very solid films starring Val Kilmer. The actor had a ton of range, but did seem to enjoy making crime thrillers. If you're interested in these, I highly recommend checking them out. Rest in peace, Mr. Kilmer. You may be gone, but your performances will live on.